So you've done all the hiring, you've built all the systems, you've done all the stuff you're supposed to. So why is it exactly that you're still spending so much time as the bottleneck in your business, down in the weeds, stuck in the day-to-day? My name is Brianne Dick. I'm the co-founder of the Visionary CEO Academy, and that's the question I want to answer for you today. The way that we're going to do that is by looking at a model that we call the Visionary Pyramid. Now, I've got a worksheet that you can use to see how your business's visionary pyramid is working right now to help you diagnose exactly why you're the bottleneck and what to shift to start getting out of the weeds. There should be a link below where you can grab a copy of this for yourself. So let's get into it. The visionary pyramid is based on this idea that there's a number of different types of things that happen in your business. There's different types of decisions that happen. There's different types of work that happen. And what most of us do is we just kind of do the work. We focus on the tasks in front of us. We don't often think about what the type of work is that we're doing or what the type of decision is that we're making. See, in a business, as you can see from the diagram I've got here, there's actually 4 different layers of responsibilities, of decisions that can happen in a business. At the bottom, we have the how decisions, right? How do things get done? This is the level of tasks, the level of implementation, of making stuff happen. This is where all the stuff that you do day to day happens. Writing sales copy, doing sales calls, talking with your clients, showing up on marketing videos like this one, doing trainings, all of the stuff that, maybe it shows up in your project management tool, all of your to-do lists. Those are your tasks. It's something that's going to show up that has to be implemented. And when it comes to implementation and doing tasks in your business, there are generally 2 different ways that business owners accomplish that. The first way that we accomplish this is what we call helpers. These are people where you create the process, you create a checklist, you create a series of steps for them to follow, and then they follow those and do the task. You're pretty much just giving them the stuff to do. They don't really have to figure out how, they just are responsible for making that how happen. That's the helpers. Implementers represent kind of the next level of decision making. They're the ones who, if you give them a project, they're going to figure out how to make it happen. You tell them, I want 500 leads added to our email list this month. And they'll figure out, should it be Facebook ads? Should it be Pinterest? Should it be Instagram? Should it be something else? Implementers figure out how to do things, and then they're responsible for the tasks and executing those tasks to make sure that they happen. That's the first category. And let's be honest, that's where most people spend most of their time in their business, especially when you're getting started out, you're spending all your time in how land. But as the business grows, we want to start moving ourselves out of the day-to-day and spend more time on other types of things in the business. What other types of things? Well, as you can see, there's 3 different levels here. There's the what level, figuring out what needs to happen. This is the level of projects, if you will. It's the level of management. So coming up with the responsibilities and the tasks for implementers to do. What should the implementers be working on? What are the metrics? What does success look like? What are KPIs? What are the targets? And this is the level, as I've said before, that we would call the manager or the mentor level. When you're making these decisions, your job is to manage and mentor the implementers and helpers, set them clear targets for what needs to be accomplished, and then manage and mentor them to the point where, they can figure out how to make those results happen. Now, above the level of what, we have the level of when. And this is the level of strategy. It's when you make decisions about when should we prioritize this over that? When should we revamp our marketing versus when should we prioritize changing our tech? When should we move from system A to system B? Is it the right time to do that now, or should we do it later? And maybe most importantly, if you would consider yourself a creative visionary entrepreneur, when should I say no to certain projects in order to say yes to other ones? That's the level of what we would call leadership, strategic leaderships. This is what's the strategy, what's the priorities. And then this when can be given to someone else who manages the what. And then the what is implemented by those who are figuring out the how. And then finally, the last type of decision we have is where are we going and why are we going there? This, as you can probably imagine, is the level of vision. And so we call it being the visionary in your business. So these are all the different types of things that happen in a business. And it's about how things get done day to day. That's helpers and implementers. How we're doing quarter to quarter. That's what managers are looking at. And the big picture year to year. That's what leadership and strategy is about. And then big picture, Where and why are we going for the long term? And the problem is where most people end up is they're spending all of that time down in the day to day, right? Doing all the tasks, implementing all the time. And the trick is that they've tried to hire people, but the people that they've hired are helpers. They're there to, do outreach on social media or book podcasts, and they just are supposed to follow instructions. But you stay in the implementer land. Maybe you even tried hiring implementers, people to write the scripts or to go and get the leads, and yet you still find yourself down in the weeds too much. And this becomes a problem because most of the people that I talk about, where they want to be spending their time, is up here in the visionary level. And so they wonder, if I've done all this hiring, at the helper level or at the implementer level, why am I still stuck here at the bottom? Well, the answer to that is in this diagram. Notice how this is a pyramid. It's a structure where each block builds on top of the ones underneath it. And so you've been doing a bunch of how work. If we randomly try and pull you out of the how and move you all the way to the top of the pyramid, what's going to happen? Well, it's like that game of Jenga, you got blocks in the bottom. If you randomly start pulling blocks out of the bottom, the whole thing eventually just falls apart. And that's what happens in your business when you try to move from the bottom of the pyramid to the top of the pyramid in one big jump, because you don't have the structures in place to be able to support the pyramid as you move yourself up. And what happens to those blocks on the top of that Jenga tower, or you on the top of the pyramid as the visionary? If this pyramid falls down, you end up back down at the bottom with the rest of the bricks. And they're a complete mess all around you, and you're stuck back in the weeds of the day to day. So that's why, despite all of your efforts, you still end up continuing to fall back into the day to day, despite having hired, despite having brought on the quote unquote right people, despite having leverage, despite having built systems, despite having done all of these things. All of those things operate at the bottom level of the pyramid. They're all making adjustments and tweaks within the how, but you're not actually replacing the how with a team structure that works. What you need is a team structure that's designed to support the bottom level of the pyramid so that you can move up and spend more of your time on the things you want to be doing them. That's how you move yourself to the top of the pyramid, by putting these structures in place so that you can move up the pyramid and know that your business is going to stay strong and intact and not crumbling down as you go. So that's how the visionary pyramid works. If you want to see exactly how your business's visionary pyramid structure is set up, like I said, we've got a worksheet that you can go through, which will help you diagnose what's going on at each of these levels and figure out how you can adjust your team structure as a result. So if you'd like a copy of that, there should be a link or a button below where you can click and grab it for yourself. That's all I've got for you today. I'll talk to you again very, very soon.